Well, it's almost Halloween, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to talk about my favorite Halloween movie of all time, and that movie is called, ironically, Halloween. Here are the 10 reasons that I love the movie Halloween. By the way, if you haven't gone ahead and subscribed to this channel, you should go ahead and do that now, because by the end of this video, you're going to love this video so much, you're going to want more. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and as a thank you, here's a picture. So now let's get on to the 10 reasons I love the movie Halloween. Number 1, well, I guess I got to start at the beginning. It's that opening scene, that long scene that's through the mask, the point of view of the young Michael Myers as he witnesses and kills the sister in the house. It was actually the first time I can ever remember seeing a movie that just immediately puts you inside the head of a killer, peeping and attacking, grabbing the knife out of the kitchen, seeing the nudity and the couple making out. And this is already something I've never seen before. The point of view of a slasher. And then when they pull the mask off, and it's a young boy in a clown costume, so innocent, holding a bloody knife. My God, that opening scene throws you into this movie in such an amazing way. Number 2, it's the music. The main title theme of Halloween is excellent. John Carpenter, the director, actually composed the score. Unfortunately, I can't play it here without this getting flagged, but man, we all know that score. And that great deep organ notes. And also those like little licks of music, those like 3 notes. It always scares the piss out of me. Number 3, I want to jump to the end. They come, they shoot him, he falls off the edge, dead, everybody's relieved, and then they look back and he's gone? They were so confident he was dead and he's gone. The first time I saw that in the movie theater, when I first saw this movie, I nearly jumped out of my seat because the idea that this wasn't over and yet the movie was over just terrified me. It terrified me because I thought, who knows? How do I know he's not in my town? And speaking of my town, my number 4 reason that I love the movie Halloween is the paranoia in the neighborhood and in the school. The town, I think, was called Haddonfield, Indiana, and honestly, I could relate to it because I grew up in Michigan and it was a similar ton of town. But the way that Michael Myers was just sort of peering around corners, around trees, the way that Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, kept thinking she was seeing something and wasn't, and through the windows of the school, I just loved the suspense of that. As a kid seeing this movie, I was in high school, I could relate to this paranoia, walking in the streets, inside my classroom. Love that feeling throughout this entire movie. Number 5, I love how Loomis, the doctor, tells the story over and over about just how evil Michael Myers is. It really was a great idea in story writing because this doctor who's, the expert who has studied this guy is just so convinced that there's no remorse behind his eyes and that he's so evil. And to hear the doctor tell it makes you scared. I don't think I would have been so scared for this movie if it wasn't for the doctor who was so convinced that this was pure evil. Because remember, all we had seen before was like a little kid with a knife. And then beyond that, it's just some jump scares. But the doctor gives it lore. Number 6 is the slut deaths. What I mean by that is, if you were a girl in this movie, you were kind of half getting naked and you were kind of like looking to fool around. And that kind of meant you're probably going to die. And that was a new concept for me. I mean, it became kind of a thing in slasher movies, like if the girl is slutty, she's going to die. And in this case, you had Jamie Lee Curtis, who was like the straight-laced girl, but her friends, Linda and Andy, they were like trying to get some action on Halloween. And yeah, they're both going to die. Loved it. Number 7 is The Mask. I've heard that actually The Mask was based on William Shatner, and I just got to say that there's something about the mask that he wore that sort of had a relatable quality and a scary quality. I've seen movies where it's like they're scary-looking masks. There was nothing scary about this mask, and yet that's what made it terrifying. Number 8, the ghost in the glasses. Now, you know what I'm talking about. So you had Linda and Bob who had been romantically involved. He goes into the other room where he's killed, and then sure enough, Michael Myers comes in as a ghost, wearing his glasses, but he's the killer. And Linda sees it and thinks it's like a sexy turn-on. And you just, that moment is just so incredibly ridiculous and scary and pushes every single button of what makes this movie great all in one moment. Gotta love that. You gotta love that. Number 9, the bad babysitting. I just found it interesting that you had Jamie Lee Curtis, who was babysitting this boy, Tommy, and then her friend is dumping off her girl, Lindsay, because she just is such a horrible babysitter and doesn't give a crap. It also just goes to show you that bad babysitting leads to death. And finally, the number 10 reason I love the movie Halloween is because it launched sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel. Once they started to get into like Halloween 20 years in, and then all the sequels and the redos, and this guy who just never died died, and the lure of Halloween and the lure of Michael Myers and everything. I just love that they were able to make a franchise out of it that can kind of keep going at its simplest forms. It didn't get too complex. There you have it, folks, the 10 reasons I love the movie Halloween. And by the way, if you don't think Halloween is scary, what other movie do you wish I had talked about as the scariest movie for Halloween? Let me know in the comments, and also keep checking out my channel, because look at this. I've got a story here on Pee-wee, I've got a story here on Steve Martin, I've got a story here on Nick Cage, new stuff coming out all the time. I've got movie reviews, I got all kinds of stuff on this channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.